Okay, and Vice Chair Sanchez, we're live, and anytime you want to call the meeting to order, we're good to go.
Okay, thank you. So we'll go ahead and start. Good evening, everybody. We're going to go ahead and start with a roll call. Dee, can you do the roll call tonight, please?
Sure. Vice Chair Sanchez,
Present.
Commissioner Arguello,
Here.
Commissioner Chavez,
Here.
Commissioner Connolly,
Here.
Commissioner Lopez,
Here.
Commissioner Meyer.
Here.
We have a quorum.
And Commissioners, if I may jump in for a quick moment, I wanted to let you know we have received an email from Chair Frank that she has officially resigned effective immediately from both the Planning Commission as well as the Measure O committee. And since it was effective immediately, she's not going to be joining us tonight. What I also want to let you know is upon her resignation, she's the council member who represents District 1 sought a replacement commissioner, and we're going to have before the city council on April 29th, a replacement commissioner going through an appointment process. So the hope is by the time that we get to our next meeting on May 6th, will be a full commission again. So I just wanted to share that with you as we're proceeding tonight. So while I have that announcement to share with you as far as a departure from our family here, I also wanted to let you know that there's another face on the screen that you haven't seen previously. The Community Development Department, we have a new director. His name is Vito Adamitis, and he comes to us after a 19-year tour of duty at the city of Goleta, as well as other jurisdictions before that. So with that, I'm going to turn over the microphone to Vito to let him give his own introduction as to who he is and why he's here, and we'll go down that path together. So Vito, welcome and thank you.
Thank you, Scott, and thank you, members of the Planning Commission, for the opportunity to say hello and look forward to our continued work and collaboration on so many important projects and items before this commission as we provide a high level of service to this community. I'm super happy to be here with the city of Oxnard and just thrilled to be a part of this team here. We have tremendous staff, lots of good work, lots of hard work in the community. And I'm very pleased to be here and to be a part of this team. So I look forward to our work, and I look forward to hopefully the day when we're able to have lots of in-person opportunities and meetings and be able to shake people's hands and or do the elbow or the fist of the thing. So anyway, I just am very pleased to be here, and it's just wonderful to be a part of the city of Oxnard.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Vito. We look forward to working with you too.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Okay, we'll continue with the agenda. So the next item on the agenda is Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Commissioner Meyer, can you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Yes, Chair. Vice Chair Sanchez, thank you. Please place your right hand over your heart and repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, so now we go to item C, which is public comments on items not on the agenda. Dee, are there any public comments that have phoned in?
No, there are no public comments.
Okay, very good. Thank you. So we'll go to item D, which is consent agenda. The approval of the minutes of April 1st, 2021. So we need a motion to approve, a first and a second to approve the consent agenda. Commissioner, okay. I see your hand. I just see Commissioner, so I wrote, is it R?
Commissioner Arwejo, Vice
Thank
Chair
you.
Sanchez.
Thank you very much.
I move to approve the minutes as submitted.
Okay, thank you very much. Do we have a second?
Have a second.
All right, we have a second by Commissioner Chavez. So all those in favor, say aye.
I'm going to do a roll call.
Oh, excuse me.
Okay. Commissioner Owejo,
Aye.
Commissioner Chavez,
Aye.
Commissioner Connolly,
Aye.
Commissioner Lopez,
Aye.
Commissioner Meyer,
Yes.
Vice Chair Sanchez.
Yes,
Motion passes.
okay. Thank you. Okay, so now we go to item E, nomination elections. Mr. Kowitz?
Yes, Vice Chair Sanchez. So as we all recall, last meeting, we had some votes that were taken, and the item for Chair and Vice Chair was continued to tonight's meeting. At this point in time, since we have 6 commissioners with us, and we are anticipating a new commissioner to be appointed between now and the next scheduled Planning Commission meeting on May 6th, we staff would be recommending that we continue this one more time, and staff is available here if you have questions about that recommendation.
Are they, okay, let's see.
Vice Chair Sanchez.
Yes,
I still plan to make, and I am excited to nominate Commissioner Daniel Chavez Jr. for the position of chair. As chair, I believe that he will be.
we're not, let me see. Is that where we're at? Yes, okay. Go ahead. Sorry.
Thank you. Again, I am excited to nominate Commissioner Daniel Chavez Jr. for the position of chair. As chair, I believe that he will be able to best steer the Planning Commission for the betterment of Oxnard's present and future. As someone who already has experience on the Planning Commission, in addition to this being his first term, he will serve as a bridge to those who have already gained expertise in various Planning Commission subjects, along with the newly appointed commissioners burgeoning with yet to be determined ideas to build a city that our families can enjoy for generations. Finally, his appointment on the Ventura County Transportation Commission can only add to the rich discussion that we as commissioners will be able to glean on and make effective decisions for the county's largest city.
Okay. Do you accept, Commissioner?
Vice Chair Sanchez, the way it works is nomination, which just occurred, followed by a second, and then we would open up the floor to any other nominations that would also need a second. And after we've exhaust all nominations and seconds, then we would move into a vote in the order of nominations.
Okay, so for Commissioner Chavez, so we need one more.
I will second again.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we don't need any other nominations at this point in time, but that is open to any member of the Planning Commission to make a nomination for an additional chair to be considered.
Are there any other nominations for chair?
Point of order, if I may.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Vice Chair. With regard to the recommendation of the council, I'm not the council, I'm sorry, of our planning manager, Mr. Kolwitz, that we continue the item to the following meeting. Is there an opportunity for discussion and either agreement with that recommendation or disagreement and moving forward with the election at this time? Perhaps the planning manager and council might be able to help the process that we're doing here.
Mr. Colas?
I would be happy to discuss this issue.
Oh.
This is a challenging situation. Mr. Kolwitz did make the recommendation, but before there was a chance to discuss that option or motion made, one of the other commissioners made the nomination. So at this point in time, there is a motion and a second on the floor. So the Planning Commission has the option to either nominate another member of the Planning Commission to be the chair, and then we would go through the process and the order of the nominations, or we can simply go to the election. If a majority, that would be 4 members of the Planning Commission vote in favor of Commissioner Chavez, then the election occurs. If there are not 4 votes, then there would be the opportunity to have a discussion on whether or not this item should be continued to the next meeting.
Thank you, Council. For future purposes, just so that we don't find ourselves in a situation again, is there a way that we can ensure that the recommendation is addressed before we move into further steps in our process?
This is a unique issue in that after the posting of the agenda, former Chair Frank resigned from the Planning Commission. So this is something that should not happen on a regular basis. And in most situations, if there was a motion made to approve the item before there'd been appropriate public comment, then it would be appropriate for the chair to say it's too early for a motion of recommendation when we have not heard public testimony, we've not had, a debate. But this is a unique situation which we don't anticipate happening soon. But this clearly is a somewhat awkward moment. But based on Robert's Rules of Order, we will need to go ahead and deal with the motion. Once again, not pushing for someone else to nominate someone else to be chair, but that is the other thing that could happen before there is a vote, starting with the first nomination.
Thank you, Mr. Roselle. That was going to be my question was, do we see if there are any other nominations for the chair?
Yes, that is how the process works. So it would be appropriate if there's a desire for someone else to nominate another member of the commission for that to happen. If not, then we would go right to the vote and take a roll call on this item.
Okay, very good. So are there any other nominations for the chair position? No others. Doesn't seem to be any other nominations for the chair. So at this point, we vote.
Yes, that is correct. And we will have Dee do a roll call vote now.
Okay.
Um,
And,
can,
we was-
can I find out who seconded the motion?
Commissioner Lopez.
Oh, Commissioner Lopez. Okay. So I'm going to do the roll call. Commissioner Owejo,
Yes.
A work order for your termite on Tuesday. And I told her, I said, no, I haven't.
Okay,
Commissioner Lopez,
Yes.
Commissioner Chavez,
Yes.
Commissioner Connolly,
Yes.
Commissioner Meyer,
Yes.
Vice Chair Sanchez.
yes,
Motion passes.
congratulations.
Congratulations, Chair Chavez. And the nomination is effective immediately. So you get to step into the role now to help us select a vice chair. Same process where we're going to be looking for a nomination in a second. We'll take however many are provided, at which point.
Nomination?
And then we'd go through the votes. And it does look like there's some questions. So Chair, we'll turn it over to you to call on your commissioners.
Thank you. And thank you, fellow commissioners, for your guys' confidence in my ability to lead our commission. We will proceed with the same outline that was in the staff's memo. I will be looking for a nomination, but in order to keep us as efficient as possible, please use the raise hand feature that's on the toolbar in order to try to make our meeting go a little bit smoother. Commissioner Lopez.
Okay, I'd like to nominate Commissioner Arrejo. Given our last couple of meetings and the preparation, the critically informed questions and comments, and in the spirit of the remarks that I shared last week about developing young and emerging talent and the city of Oxnard being able to do a better job of developing the next generation of leaders, I'd like to nominate Commissioner Arrejo to serve as vice chair.
Thank you. And then I actually will go ahead and second that. We'll go to Commissioner Meyer.
Thank you, Chair Chavez. I would like to nominate the current or just until recently Vice Chair Robert Sanchez. Mr. Sanchez has 4 years of experience on our Planning Commission, which makes him our most senior member. And in a time where we've gone actually in the period of less than 2 years that I've been a commissioner, from having commissioners with a total of roughly 40 years of experience on the commission to now having a total of perhaps 8 years of experience on our commission, I think having a vice chair who actually has half of that experience on our commission as vice chair would be valuable, and a valuable balance in that regard.
Thank you for that. Do we have a second for Commissioner Myers? Commissioner Lopez, you have a question?
No, I was simply going to say I'm happy to second the nomination as well.
Okay, so we'll go ahead. If there's no further nominations for vice chair, we'll go ahead and take a vote on the first nomination, which was proposed by Commissioner Lopez for Commissioner Arrejo and seconded by myself. Dee?
Okay. Commissioner Lopez,
Aye.
Commissioner Chavez,
Aye.
Commissioner Arrejo,
Aye.
Commissioner Connolly,
Aye.
Commissioner Meyer,
No.
Vice Chair Sanchez. Vice Chair Sanchez. Vice Chair Sanchez, can you unmute?
Thank you. No.
Okay, motion passes.
Thank you. And with that, congratulations to new Vice Chair Arrejo. And staff, do we have any other items or can we proceed with the agenda?
Chair Chavez, no, that completes the elections at this point in time. So congratulations to our new officers. And that would mean that we would move directly from elections into the ex parte communications and those declarations.
Thank you. So we'll move on to our next items, and I'll just call on each commissioner and just respond with a yes or no for any ex parte communications. This is an opportunity for the commissioners to disclose any of that. So Vice Chair Arrejo?
No.
Commissioner Connolly?
No.
Commissioner Lopez?
No.
Commissioner Meyer?
No.
Commissioner Sanchez?
No.
And no from myself. So we'll go ahead and take our first public hearing item, which is G1. Project name is DMV Oxnard Field Office General Plan Conformity. Planning and zoning permit number 20-625-01. A request that the Planning Commission adopt a resolution affirming that the city of Oxnard's vacation of real property located at 4050 South Saviors Road is in conformance with the City of Oxnard 2030 General Plan and recommending that the City Council order the vacation. The project site is located at 4050 South Saviors Road, assessor's parcel number 219-0-110-355 and 219-0-110-405. The site is located within the 2030 General Plan use designation of commercial general and is zoned general commercial in the City of Oxnard. This is filed by Alfredo Palomar on behalf of the state of California, and our city staff on the item is Senior Planner Mr. Pearson. As a reminder to the public and my fellow commissioners, in accordance with Measure M, there will be no presentation. That should have been viewed prior to our meeting through either the city's website or YouTube channel. So at this time, I will ask commissioners if they have any questions or comments on this item. Vice Chair Rejo.
Thank you, Chair Chavez. When I looked at this agenda item, it was just interesting that that the city vacated the drainage assessment since 1984. I requested some information. Why is the state asking at that right now? And I'd like for just for the public and for my fellow commissioners, if it could be summarized why the state is asking now, 35 plus years after the vacation by the city.
Mr. Pearson.
Good afternoon, Vice Chair Rejo. We do have the applicant on the line here as well. I can kind of go ahead and read what they kind of provided to me. And essentially they're asking for the vacation easements because it's in conflict with the operation of the existing facility. As you saw on the plan, the drainage easements go through the building and through the parking lot of the site. And then in addition to that, the project has potential for state lease revenue bond financing. The recorded easements will adversely impact the state's ability to place lease revenue bond financing on the property. So that was the reason that was provided. And again, the applicant, Alfredo Palomar, is on the line as well.
Vice Chair.
Thank you very much. Actually, that explanation was sufficient and I appreciate the explanation. Thank you very much. That's all.
Are there any other questions? Commissioner Lopez.
Thank you so much, Mr. Pearson, for the presentation. Very much appreciated the history dating back to before the 1940s, if I'm not mistaken, and just appreciate that being included in our materials and in the staff report. In the spirit of education and just transparency and information sharing for the layperson and resident of Oxnard and taxpayer, could you just explain in simple terms what vacation easement and drainage easement are, which are a part of this project description?
So the applicant is requesting that we vacate the existing easements. So currently the city owns 2 easements across the property that were identified in the staff report for drainage purposes. Essentially, the applicant is asking for the city to give up those easements. So that's what we mean by vacate. So essentially giving up those easements is what the applicant is requesting.
Commissioner Lopez.
Thank you.
Any other questions from commissioners? Mr. Colwitz, would it be appropriate to hear from the applicant?
Chair Chavez, yes, that's absolutely the next step. Excuse me, I'm picking up feedback here. That is the next appropriate step. And following comments by or questions to the applicant, then we would open it up for public comment. If there are any, I do not believe, Dee, that we had any members of the public sign up for this item, though, aside from the applicant.
No, there's no public comments.
Okay. So yes,
Thank you.
At this point in time, Alfredo Palomar is on the phone and can speak.
Mr. Palomar, do you have any additional information to provide to the commission?
No, like Mr. Peterson stated, the state is basically requesting to vacate, in other words, quitclaim those two easements. As you can see on the maps, one of them is directly under the building and the other one is in a parking lot.
Thank you.
And those, yes.
Is there any questions of the applicant? Seeing none, I will be looking for a motion on this item.
Move to approve item as recommended.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Meyer, a second by Commissioner Lopez. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Meyer,
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez,
Yes.
Commissioner Owejo,
Yes.
Commissioner Chavez, Chair Chavez,
Yes.
Commissioner Connolly,
Yes.
Commissioner Sanchez.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. We'll now go into our second public hearing item. Project name is 241 West 2nd Street Property Disposition, General Plan Conformity. It's a planning and zoning permit number 21-625-01. A request that the Planning Commission adopt a resolution affirming that the City of Oxnard's deposition of real property located at 241 West 2nd Street is in conformance with the City of Oxnard 2030 General Plan and recommending that the City Council order the deposition. The project site is located at 241 West 2nd Street, assessor parcel number 202-0-054-075 and 202-0-054-080. The site is located within the 2030 General Plan land use destination of downtown and is zoned downtown general in the City of Oxnard. This is requested by Emilio Ramirez, Housing Director, on behalf of the City of Oxnard. And once again, my colleagues, in accordance with Measure M, we will now be receiving a presentation. Do we have any questions of staff at this time? Commissioner Lopez.
Thank you. I followed this discussion and item as it's unfolded both in the newspapers as well as at city council meetings. And I was just wondering, in terms of the presentation, slide 6, where it references the December 17th Planning Commission, was wondering if staff could summarize if there was any dissent or any dissent, either from members of the public or from the commissioners at that particular meeting.
So at the meeting, I believe the vote was unanimous among the commissioners. I believe there was one public comment in opposition to the project, and I can't remember how many speakers spoke in favor. But I believe it was just the one public comment that was made there.
Thank you.
Commissioner Meyer.
Thank you, Chair Chavez. My question to staff is I guess more for edification about what this means in terms of the ownership of the asset and where that asset and of course its respective value then moves with this recommended action. It's for my edification, and I would suspect that some in the public might also benefit from understanding how this moves from a City of Oxnard asset to a City of Oxnard Housing Department asset, and does it then move to being owned by the developer, if that's within the scope of what we can discuss here.
If I could begin the discussion, while we can clearly talk about some of these issues, From a technical standpoint, the only item before the planning commission tonight is whether this disposition of the property is consistent with the general plan. But it is appropriate and not in violation of the law or the Brown Act for there to be a brief discussion about some of the factual aspects of this rather complicated process. If Mr. Ramirez would mind to provide a brief overview of those issues.
Absolutely. Good evening, commissioners. My name is Emilio Ramirez. I'm Director of Housing for the City of Oxnard. Commissioner, you're absolutely right. The transaction is involved. It's complicated. So first of all, the property is currently owned by the City of Oxnard and has been long-term owned by the City of Oxnard, but has been vacant for 10 plus years. There was a building there that hasn't been used for quite some time. The ultimate objective is on that site to build and operate what we are referring to as the Homeless Solution Center. That Homeless Solution Center includes the Homeless Shelter Navigation Center that was approved by the Planning Commission in December. The building itself is to be built using a financing structure that accommodates low-income housing tax credits. In order for the low-income housing tax credit structure to be viable, the City of Oxnard cannot own it. Okay, so we have to convey it to a private entity in an effort to allow for that private investment to occur. Therein lies how a $34 million project gets built in Oxnard with only $1.5 million from the city coming. That's where the rest of the $32 million come from, because of the tax credit structure. So the objective is that we are going to sell it to the Ventura County Housing Trust Fund, which is a local private nonprofit. They are going to maintain ownership of it and enter into a long-term lease with the private developer for 99 years. But the fee ownership will stay with the Ventura Housing Trust Fund. The 99 years lease allows a debt structure to occur, a mortgage to occur, because it's longer than what is needed for that mortgage to occur. But it also conveys a value of $840,000 worth of real property to the Ventura County Housing Trust Fund, which is a nonprofit with a mission to produce affordable housing. So they are able to leverage at a rate of 2-to-1 the value of 840 for future other affordable housing money to come to the area for other future affordable housing development. So that's why we're conveying it to the trust fund instead of directly to the developer, which you could have done, conveying it to the trust fund, recording a deed restriction that says on this site, there must be a Homeless Solution Center for at least 99 years. They will then groundlets it to the developer who will build the project. The trust fund on the side happens to get the value of the money, and they can leverage that against another grant. I know it's complicated, I'm sorry, but that's what we thought up.
Commissioner Meyer.
Thank you, Mr. Ramirez. Go
ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Mr. Ramirez. That is actually quite clear, and he made it very easily understandable for myself, for sure, and then I would assume most of the public as well. And I do understand and I appreciate that the question is not particularly relevant to the land use decision, but that is definitely very helpful for my edification of how the process works, kind of how the sausage is made, to be colloquial about it, and understanding the larger benefits that accrue as a result.
Thank you, sir.
Are there any other comments or questions from the commission? Staff, Commissioner Lopez.
I appreciated council just saying that, you know, in summary, that the item before us today is simply asking that the Planning Commission adopt the attached resolution memorializing the commission's determination of the proposed disposition to conform with its 2030 general plan. And I think I just would want to highlight for the public also in the presentation how the disposition of this real property and the development of a homeless shelter is actually key to many policies aimed at revitalizing downtown, but also of the housing element, which we discussed last week, and the policies of addressing homelessness in it as well. So if no one else has any other questions or comments, I'd like to move that recommendation.
Before that, we'll check with our Madam Clerk if there's any public comments on this item.
No, there's no public comments.
Thank you. We have a motion by Commissioner Lopez to move the recommended action for this item. Is there a second?
Second.
Well,
tie.
it was a tie, so we'll go with Commissioner Connolly for the second. So motion by Commissioner Lopez, second by Commissioner Connolly. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Lopez,
Yes.
Commissioner Connolly,
Yes.
Vice Chair Owejo,
Aye.
Commissioner Chavez,
Yes.
Commissioner Meyer,
Yes.
Commissioner Sanchez.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. And congratulations to our city, because this is definitely a benefit. And thank you, Mr. Ramirez. We'll go ahead and continue with our agenda. Next item is study sessions and reports. There doesn't appear to be anything listed. So we'll move on to Planning Commission business. Is there any Planning Commission business? This is an opportunity for commissioners to make any brief announcements of any outside business. Commissioner Meyer.
Thank you, Chair Sanchez. I wanted to take this opportunity just to acknowledge the term of former Chair Deidre Frank. I enjoyed working with her these past almost 2 years. And while we didn't always agree, there was a tremendous amount of respect. And I know for my part, I had a great deal of respect for her acumen, her extensive study, her knowledge, and her willingness to ask the tough questions that need to be asked. So I'm sad to see her go, and I appreciate all her many years of service on the commission.
Thank you, Vice Chair Rejo.
Thank you, Chair Chavez. I had 2 items. Briefly, I would like to thank my fellow commissioners for your confidence in me for Vice Chair for the rest of this calendar year. I hope to leverage that position to assist the Chair and the rest of the Planning Commission members as this Planning Commission sees fit in whatever way that might be for this term. And again, I thank you very much, and hopefully I can thank you all in person very soon. My second item, I would like to propose, based on Chair Chavez's comments at the last meeting, and that it's good practice per Robert's rules at least every 5 years, that I am requesting staff to place on the agenda of the next regularly scheduled Planning Commission meeting a study session regarding revising the roles of the committee. Furthermore, per Planning Commission Resolution number 2012-05, Section 14, Amendment of Rules and Procedures, and in keeping with Robert's Rules of Order, Section 57, Amendment to Bylaws, Paragraph 5, General Revisions, I would also like the following motion to be an analysis as follows. Per Planning Commission Resolution number 2012-05, Section 10, Subcommittees, the Chair appoint members of the Commission to a subcommittee to consider a revision of the resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of Oxnard establishing rules and procedures for the conduct of meetings and to report back to the Planning Commission by no later than June. Thank you, Chair Chavez. That's all for me.
Vice Chair, if you can also submit those written comments to staff so that they are able to review and carry out that request. Is there any other comments from the commission? Commissioner Lopez.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to echo Commissioner Meyer's remarks and thanking former Chair Frank. I was surprised to hear of her resignation, especially given that she was going to be considered for chair. Nonetheless, hope that everything is okay with her and her loved ones. But at the same time, also want to thank, as well as thanking Commissioner Frank or Chair Frank, I want to thank Commissioner Sanchez for his term and service in filling in for the chair in her absence, including tonight. So thank you for your service as vice chair. And as we transition, congratulations to Chair Chavez and Vice Chair Adrejo. I certainly feel very comfortable after tonight's meeting with the decision that we made, and just want to wish you all the best of luck in your roles with this shortened term, since we are already going to be going into May when we convene again for our next meeting. So thank you for your service and congratulations.
Thank you, and I will take this brief opportunity just to echo those same comments that Chair Frank, she did a tremendous job on this commission, serving for a number of years, and I wish her well. And thank you to former Vice Chair Sanchez for his service in that role as well, and leading our commission on a few occasions. If there's no further comments, Commissioner Sanchez.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for those thoughts. And I want to thank Brian, our city councilman, who appointed me to the Planning Commission for another term. Thank you.
Commissioner Meyer. You're mute.
Commissioner Meyer, you're muted.
Thank you, Dee. I wanted to take the opportunity to congratulate you, Chair Chavez and Vice Chair Aroejo. Despite my having a preference for different candidates at different times, I don't question either of your competence or ability to carry out the positions admirably. And I know that we'll do very well as a commission together.
Thank you. Commissioner Connolly, you're the only one that hasn't said anything. Do you want to say anything?
I definitely echo everything that everyone said. I think both past Chair Frank and past Vice Chair Commissioner Sanchez. Obviously, you guys got us this far, and I'm very excited for Chair Sanchez and Chair Arejo to see what the future brings. So thank you.
Thank you. So we'll go ahead and move to our next item, community development staff updates. Mr. Kovitz.
And Chair Chavez, if I could do one thing really quick, if we could actually go back for a quick second to Vice Chair Arejo's request for an item to be brought on a future agenda here. I'm going to summarize it, generally speaking, as a study session on the PC protocols. We need an official motion from the Planning Commission to make that happen. So I'm looking for that as a motion and a second. Clearly, Vice Chair Arejo has already made the motion for that to happen. If we can get a second, that would be great. And then we'll take a quick roll call vote on that.
I'll go ahead and second that.
Okay, thank you. And Dee, if we could do a quick roll call on that.
Vice Chair Arejo.
Aye.
Chair Chavez.
Aye.
Commissioner Connolly.
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez.
Yes.
Commissioner Meyer.
Yes.
Commissioner Sanchez.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. Thank you all for taking care of that quick housekeeping duty. And with that, I'll gladly jump into the community development staff update. I only have two brief ones for you, one I've already alluded to, which is on April 29th, the City Council will be meeting, and we're going to be looking for the appointment of your, hopefully, seventh member at that point. So when we come back on May 6th, we'll be a full commission again. And on that same evening, the big item is this full city council reviewing the draft housing element that you previously reviewed on April 1st. Just as part of storytelling after that, assuming that the city council takes action for us to forward that up to the state, then the state would start doing their review and whatever direction city council gives to staff. If there is any interest in modifying things, we would be doing that in a parallel fashion while the state is reviewing the materials that we send up to them. So as the reminder, the goal is to land the housing element as an adopted document as of October of this year. So still lots of work to happen on that, but we thank you all for your participation in making that a reality. And then the only other announcement is your next meeting is scheduled for May 6th. Currently, it is a fairly short agenda. The work effort to get the rules and procedures on a calendar, I'm not certain if we're going to be able to pull it off for May 6th, but we will be looking for the next available meeting where staff can pull that off. So all that said, thank you for your volunteer efforts and congratulations on a short meeting tonight. And those that have a new role, again, congratulations on that. We look forward to working with you in those roles.
Is there any questions from Commissioner Lopez?
Thank you. And a question for staff. So I know that at our last meeting, the motion by Commissioner Meyer for the housing element included the addition of the rent control and just cause and Ventura County farm worker programs. Is that going to be included in the report that City Council sees at the meeting, or is that something that you all are still working to add to the report before it's forwarded to the state?
Yeah, as Commissioner Lopez, that's a great question. As we move forward, we're sharing the Planning Commission motion with both the City Council's Housing Economic Development Subcommittee. I'm going to use that as a short name. They heard that motion. They didn't change anything or recommend a different motion. And the whole project is moving up to the City Council now with the Planning Commission's recommendation effectively still intact, if you will.
Great, thank you.
Welcome.
Is there any other questions of staff? Mr. Kolwitz, I'll just ask that, for future items, if we can do a study session just to bring up all commissioners up to speed in regards to the general plan that we're working at, the local coastal plan, just so that everyone's up to speed. I don't know if that could be a meeting or just a study session separate from an actual meeting, just so that we get everyone on the same page, and it may be a benefit for the public as well.
Just to understand the intent, is it to go over the purpose and the content of the general plan and the LCP? Is that what we're asking?
I think it's just more of just trying to get a quick overview, summarize of that, so that we stay in conformity with the general plan and the local coastal plan when projects come before us in the future. I don't know if that's something that could be a study session or an actual item.
Staff, we have the ability of working directly with the chair to talk about those type of activities. So let's talk about that a little bit to understand the goal a little bit more rather than doing it quite on the fly here. And then we can figure out the best way of approaching what's desired.
Sounds good. Thank you. Is there any other questions of staff? Seeing none. Again, thank you to the commissioners. Can I get a motion for adjournment?
Chair Chavez, no motion is needed. As the chair, that is your authority.
Oh, okay. I was just trying to do the exact same thing I saw City Council, but okay, that's fine. So with that being said, thank you again to our staff and to my colleagues on the commission. We stand adjourned until May 6th. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. You all take care.
Thank you. Have a good weekend, everyone.
Have a great evening.
Bye,
See you in
soon.
You'll have training on